Welcome back again, everybody, to the 423 Football Podcast. Today is our Week 17 preview show. I'm your host, Brandon Bouchard, joined here, as always, by Brett Hamilton.
Hello!
And what are you playing with over there?
I'm playing with my new smart light bulbs.
They are
I'm changing
trippy.
the color. I know, yeah, I'm changing
It's
the color.
psychedelic, baby.
Yeah, I'm trying to set the mood right, okay?
I'm liking green. I'll leave it on green. Yeah, look at that.
All right, we are in
Green
a
Bay.
we're in a Packers room right now. This would look good in your green room.
It would. For anyone,
Everything else is green.
Yeah, if anyone, or for all those who know me, we have the coveted green room, and it's just Packers stuff as far as the eye can see.
Literally, as
Just
far as like
wall to wall.
nothing in there is not Packers.
You could literally reach your arm out in any direction, and you'll be touching something Packer related.
It is absolutely true.
But anyway, Week 17 preview show. We're going to go through the matchups, give you starts and sits at the very end for all of those who are playing in Week 17. Hopefully, you guys are smart enough to not play into Week 17, and maybe we're just doing this for the daily fantasy owners or daily fantasy sport players.
Or maybe if you just joined a random league on ESPN and it just happens to go to Week 17.
True.
You don't have any say in it.
We're going to prepare you for it, and hopefully you'll get a fantasy title or win some money in daily sports.
Yep.
And this will be our last matchups preview for the year probably. We'll do our. I'm not really sure what our format's going to be for the playoffs. We'll definitely have a show and we'll talk about the playoffs. I don't know if it would be more fantasy related or more just football in general, but we'll definitely try to figure out something for the playoffs and the offseason as well.
Yep.
So, first game of the week. All these games are on Sunday, by the way. No Thursday games, no Saturday, no Monday Night Football. Yep. All Sunday games. So,
there's not a Sunday night game, though, is there?
no, I don't believe so.
Yeah,
I think they're
really
all
weird.
They're all 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games.
There's like 9 1 o'clock games. Or
so
something
Red
like
Zone's
that.
going to be lit.
Yeah. If you don't have Red Zone, get somewhere that has Red Zone.
Yeah, it's
or like a place like
B-dubs.
Buffalo Wild Wings, something like that, because there's going to be a lot going on.
Oh yeah. So Packers versus Lions, first game. Aaron Jones, or I should say, when we go through these matchups, it's not going to be our regular matchups preview. We're just going to go through these quick with, we're going to tell you our pick'ems. We're going to go through the injuries. And if you play, or mainly, I want to say that if you're playing in Week 17 and you've been listening to us, we aren't going to, or obviously we don't think it's smart to play into Week 17, so we're just going to give you the injuries. And if you've been listening to us, hopefully you've learned something for the first 16 weeks, and you can start your own lineup based off of this. But we'll give you starts and sits at the very end. Maybe that'll help out a little bit more. But anyway, Packers, Lions, Aaron Jones dealing with a knee injury, unlikely to play. I like Jamal Williams in this game, actually.
Yeah, me too.
I like him a lot. Jordy Nelson dealing with a shoulder injury. Devontae Adams dealing with a concussion. Both are questionable. I really, really would be surprised if either of them played.
Me too,
with nothing on the line in this game.
Nope.
I got the Packers winning this one.
You never bet against your own team, but I'm going to go the Lions.
Texans and Colts. Again, nothing on the line here other than draft spots. Both teams are relatively healthy, so not really much to talk about there. I really like DeAndre Hopkins. Enough said.
And just in general.
Texans, I got winning.
I have the Texans as well.
Okay. Bears and Vikings. Vikings have already clinched the division, but are still fighting for a playoff bye, so not worried about people sitting or pulling players, I don't think, in this one.
Nope.
Maybe if they get up by a healthy margin, then fine. I got the Vikings winning this one.
I also have the Vikings.
Okay, Jets and Patriots. Patriots have clinched a bye, along with the Steelers, but neither team has secured home field advantage yet, so they're still playing for something. They really want that home field.
Yeah.
James White and Chris Hogan missed last game with their respective injuries, so we'll be monitoring them throughout this week. I think it's still going to be Dion Lewis's show for the running backs. Chris Hogan, obviously, if he's in there, he's going to be a pretty focal part of that offense, especially for the passing game. Obviously, Gronk's the number one target. Brandon Cooks is still up and down like every single week. Yep. And Chris Hogan being in there might add some stability to that rotation.
Yep.
I got the Patriots winning.
I have the Patriots.
Redskins versus Giants. Only draft slots are up for grabs here. Evan Ingram dealing with a rib injury. We're going to have to monitor that. And then Sterling Shepard dealing with a neck injury. Again, have to monitor that. I really don't think either of them are going to play. Obviously, nothing on the line. And why risk getting hurt? Especially a neck injury. Or
especially.
Neck and ribs, really.
Yeah, ribs bad.
I mean, neck, we know that's bad.
Yeah.
Then rib injury, if maybe broken rib.
Can come through that.
Yeah, a lot of organs in that area that can be punctured.
Don't want to do that.
No. I got the Redskins winning.
I also have the Redskins.
God, I got to make contrarian picks. I'm going to have to switch them up.
It's going to be so hard for you.
what do we say the pick was down to? Or what's the margin?
80-point difference.
80 points.
So you'd have to win 8 games that I lost.
I can do it. Okay, Cowboys and Eagles. Unfortunately for the Cowboys, this game really doesn't mean anything. Eagles have secured home field advantage for the playoffs, and the Cowboys got eliminated last week. So, Eagles most likely going to sit their starters or some starters. So, if you have any Eagles, make sure you check to see if they will play or not.
Yep.
I think if I was a betting man, I think Ertz is probably going to sit. I'm guessing Alshon's probably going to sit. Aguilar maybe. Yeah. I definitely think Alshon would sit over Aguilar. J.J. might sit. Blunt might sit. I think it's going to be Corey Clement.
Probably,
Nick Foles, they're still up in the air on him. I think they might want to still get him some reps because
that might be good.
Good last week.
Not playoff ready if that's what he's going to show.
Yeah. I got the Cowboys winning this one, actually, just because I think the starters are going to be sitting out.
I was back and forth on this one because I thought that maybe the Eagles B team could beat the Cowboys right now.
I fully expect it to be a close game.
I'm still going to go with the Eagles.
All right. Browns and Steelers. As mentioned earlier, the Steelers are trying to secure home field in the playoffs. So they are probably inclined to continue playing starters, even though it is against the Browns. Antonio Brown already ruled out for this week with a calf injury. We knew that. Browns already have the first pick in the draft, so they should have nothing holding them back in this game other than their inferior talent. But maybe Browns, if the Steelers, I know they're fighting for the home field, but maybe Browns actually show up and maybe surprise people in this game.
Yeah,
but
could be.
One, Steelers trying to get home field, and two, Steelers don't want to be the team that loses to the 0-15 team.
Yep.
So, I do want to take a little bit of time. We obviously know the Browns have already locked up the first pick. We haven't talked much about like draft or like the actual NFL draft much yet, but we actually have a clear picture of who's drafting number 1. And obviously it's probably going to be a quarterback. If the Browns are smart, but you never know. The Browns could do something completely stupid.
Yeah.
But I guess there's, 3 quarterback names that are in the mix? Well, I guess 4 because the Browns are, again, they're the Browns and they come up with these wacky ideas. But Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, and Baker Mayfield, which is the 4th. Like, okay, whatever. You can talk about them all you want, but sure.
Yeah.
But we've already seen Josh Rosen hinted at the fact that he might stay another year just to avoid being picked by the Browns. And I feel like, we haven't heard much from any other quarterback yet. I feel like Josh Allen, just because he's playing at Wyoming, probably wouldn't be saying stuff like that. But
no.
Rosen and Darnold are definitely my 2 top guys, not even close.
Yeah.
And I can understand. That organization is barely an NFL organization.
Yeah.
It's an ugly situation there, and they're not getting anything right. Literally, they were about in the same boat as the 49ers for basically the majority of this year, and then they went out and got a quarterback, started getting pieces together, got a GM, great coach, offensive-minded coach, and they're getting pieces together. And the 49ers did in basically 2-3 years what the Browns have been trying to do for 20 years.
Yep.
And it's just something about that organization.
Yeah, they just don't have it. They just don't
it's
have
just
it.
it's poison. It's not good.
Yeah.
And I can understand. I can understand these young quarterbacks not wanting to play for a team like that. It's completely understandable. It can ruin careers. Deshaun Kaiser's career has basically been butchered before it even got started.
Yeah, and that's not fair to him either.
No, they rushed him into that. And I'm not saying Kaiser would have been something great,
no.
but clearly
he didn't need to start.
No, not.
And so now it's just going to be really hard for him to go anywhere else and be a starter, or he's just going to have a lot to prove going forward.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll talk more about the draft in the off season. Obviously, that'll be the majority of our conversations probably leading up to the NFL draft and off season. I guess acquisitions, I should say. Mm-hmm. I got the Steelers winning this one.
I do have the Steelers. 0-16 for the Browns.
Nope. They're going to do what only two other teams have done.
Yep.
I think the Bucks and the Lions, I think. Did the Dolphins do it once? No.
They went 16-0.
Well, yeah. I thought I could have sworn they had like one of the worst years and one of the best years ever. Anyway.
I don't know if they went winless.
Anyway, that was a long time ago. So anyway, Panthers and Falcons. Panthers have already locked up one playoff spot, but the Falcons are fighting with the Seahawks to get the last wild card spot. Falcons are relatively healthy. I think they should be good to go on, or you should be fine starting whoever you want in that game if you're inclined to do so. Like I said, I'm not gonna help you if you're playing in Week 17. Just do your thing. On the Panthers side of the ball, Damiere Byrd has been placed on IR after suffering a serious lower leg injury. Yeah. They said that they aren't necessarily going to go out and add another receiver. Mm-hmm. I know Russell Shepard's been banged up too. Devin Funchess has been kind of disappointing. Greg Olsen being back helps. Yeah. But they said Christian McCaffrey is going to get even more snaps at wide receiver position, possibly. Yep. So uptick with McCaffrey getting even more receptions, definitely in PPR. I know a lot of daily fantasy sports are PPR based. So Christian McCaffrey could be a very, very good play from here on out. I got the Falcons winning this one, though.
I have the Falcons.
Chiefs and Broncos. Chiefs have clinched the division, and both buys in the AFC have been locked up. So Chiefs may be inclined to sit some starters here. They don't really have anywhere. They can't really move up or down. So Chiefs are pretty much locked where they are. If you have Alex Smith, Kareem Hunt, Kelsey, Tyreek Hill, just monitor the situation. All of them could sit in this game. I'm trying to think of a few names that if they do sit, maybe Demetrius Harris at the tight end position for the Chiefs, Chris Conley, Albert Wilson, maybe Sharkandrick West, if you're looking to replace them directly from the Chiefs. Broncos side of the ball, Emmanuel Sanders dealing with an ankle injury. Status is up in the air for this game. I don't really expect him to play. C.J. Anderson, still loving him on the Broncos side of the ball. That's about it there. Yep. Who you got winning?
I have the Chiefs.
Chiefs as well, with most likely backups.
Yep.
Jaguars and Titans. Big matchup here. Jags have clinched the AFC South, but the Titans are attempting to avoid a late season collapse with a win here to get into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Will the Jags sit, in your opinion, sit their starters with... they've already locked up the division. I don't think they can move up or down, really. I don't think they can get home field or a bye. Steelers and Patriots have already locked up the bye. So, they're sitting where they are. Do you think the Jags would be inclined to start or sit their starters with an opportunity to knock the Titans out of the playoffs?
I think, I think that they would probably that would be an inclination, but I don't think that. I think they'll start. I don't see any reason for them to, especially coming off a loss to the 49ers. I feel like they've got a little bit something more to prove.
True. I will say if the Jag starters play the majority of the game, I think the Titans are going to lose this one. Spoiler for my pick. But Titans, I don't know. They just haven't looked good all year. They've had some fluke wins. And these, obviously, they played the Rams last week. Did okay, better than we thought they would do. And then they got the Jags this week. But I don't know. With playoff things on the line, Titans could easily step up. It's obviously a big game.
Yep.
The Jags probably without Marquise Lee, Allen Hurns, and Jalen Strong. So D.D. Westbrook, Keelan Cole, top 2 options, maybe even Mercedes Lewis at the tight end position. Yeah. But definitely hurting at the wide receiver position.
Yep.
Titans side of the ball, DeMarco Murray has an MCL sprain. I think they said grade 3 MCL sprain. He's day-to-day, even with the sprain. Or actually, was it a sprain or a tear?
December 26th.
What is that?
I think I activated Siri.
Oh God, your house is taken over already.
It's
the smart it's the smart house.
It is smart house. Yeah.
Great movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
And my mistake. It's not a sprain. It's an MCL tear. So he's torn his MCL. He says he's planning on playing on Sunday though.
I think that's fake news.
Yeah. I mean, more power to him, but just
fake news.
Just let Derrick Henry have the job.
Actually, yeah, I think Derrick Henry's gonna start and play the whole game and have a really good game.
Okay. I got the Jags winning though.
I do have the Jags winning.
49ers, Rams. Rams have already clinched the NFC West, but a first-round bye still up for grabs. 49ers, so as I say that, Rams still probably starting all of their starters.
Yep.
49ers have looked incredible with Jimmy Garoppolo at the helm, going 4-0. I just want to say, to win out by going 5-0 with wins over the Jags and Rams, that would be a big wake-up call for the NFC West future and the NFL, really, in general.
Yeah.
We talked about the Niners a little bit already, but I truly believe that the Niners and Rams are going to be the face of that division, and the Seahawks are going to start to crumble. Cardinals, I think, are even more prepared than the Seahawks to deal with this stuff. They just need a quarterback to stay healthy and David Johnson back.
And they need David Johnson.
That would be very nice.
They need the centerpiece to the offense.
Yeah. But with the Rams starting all their starters most likely and still fighting for the bye, I expect a big game from Gurley. I expect a big game from Goff. I think the Rams handle them and win this game.
Yep, I'm going to go Rams.
All right, Bills versus Dolphins. Bills are still alive in the wildcard race, and with the Titans in the middle of choking, it could be possible that they actually sneak into the playoffs.
Yep.
Bills pretty much healthy. Still, I think LaShawn McCoy, maybe Tyrod Taylor, maybe borderline Kelvin Benjamin. I'm okay starting. Dolphins side of the ball, Damian Williams, still questionable coming into this week, so we're just going to have to monitor that. Kenyon Drake had a down week last week, but I think he bounces back here and does all right. Yep. I got the Bills winning this.
I have the Bills.
Raiders versus Chargers. Chargers are fighting for a wildcard spot in the AFC as well. Melvin Gordon is dealing with an ankle injury and is questionable for this game. I don't know. I think it's looking unlikely that he'll play.
Yeah.
Austin Eckler, he's been dealing with a broken hand. He's been just playing special teams. He's been playing through the broken hand, but obviously he's got a club on one hand. He's not going to be carrying the football.
No.
Brandon Oliver would be the guy to step up if Melvin Gordon were to miss this game. So Brandon Oliver in the past, he's looked good in his limited roles. So it might be okay grabbing Brandon Oliver, and he's definitely out there. I think he's available in like 99.9% of all leagues. So Brandon Oliver, make sure you have him if you're a Melvin Gordon owner.
Yep.
Chargers, I got them.
I have Chargers.
Cardinals and Seahawks. Seahawks trying to take that last wildcard spot away from the Falcons, and the Seahawks have a much easier matchup to do so here against the Cardinals. Seahawks, relatively healthy. They've been up and down the past couple weeks, though, just in their performances. Cardinals have been going back and forth with their quarterbacks. We don't even know who's going to be the starting quarterback. Larry Fitzgerald, he's still dominating with his old self. He could be out there with a cane. It's not going to matter. But I got the Seahawks winning this one.
I got the Seahawks at home.
Saints versus Buccaneers. Saints are still trying to win the division title over the Panthers, so there's a little bit on the line here. That's every team wants the division title.
Yep.
Buccaneers have been playing teams very, very hard these past couple weeks, I will say, with pretty much nothing on the line.
Except for jobs.
Except for jobs, yeah. A lot of jobs are on the line in this one. But I think the Saints are they're going to be playing all their starters. They're going to be trying to get that division title. I think the Saints win this one.
I got the Buccaneers.
Of course.
Never bet against your own team.
Never. Bengals and Ravens, last matchup. If the Ravens win, they're in. So they're going to be playing their starters. Ravens have been very quiet this year, but they're right there in the playoff hunt, so maybe they can make some noise. That defense is strong. Yeah. Even if the Ravens lose, they have a shot at the playoffs if the Titans or the Bills lose as well. So the Bengals look like a actual football team last week for once.
Finally.
And I'm sure they would love to knock another team out of the playoffs. Obviously, they knocked the Lions out last week.
Yeah.
They can possibly knock the Ravens out again this week if the cards are in their favor. On the Ravens side of the ball, Jeremy Maclin dealing with a knee injury, may or may not play. It's probably on the more doubtful side.
Yep.
Joe Mixon dealing with an ankle injury. I don't think he's going to play in this one either. Gio Bernard is the guy to go with. I just want to say, I think people forget what Gio Bernard used to be. Like, before Jeremy Hill, and Gio Bernard had the reins, he took off. He was like the rookie phenom that we're talking about, that we thought Joe Mixon would be. Mm-hmm. Bernard's done this in the past. It's just he's been injured before. He's had other guys come in like Jeremy Hill and Joe Mixon and kind of move things around. But Gio Bernard's a very, very capable NFL running back, and people should realize that. It's definitely a tough matchup here against the Ravens, but Gio Bernard, he could be a very good play here.
Yep.
I got the Ravens winning.
I have the Ravens. Yep.
Okay. Starts and sits of the week. We'll go through these and then we'll close it out. Obviously, yesterday's show was pretty short. This one's probably going to be about the same time frame with the year winding down. A little less to talk about and a little more time to prepare for the playoffs, I should say. Starts and sits of the week. Quarterback position. Who you starting?
Russell Wilson versus the Cardinals.
Like it. I got Blake Bortles against Tennessee. I think Bortles goes out and hopefully doesn't throw 3 interceptions this time.
Right off the bat.
It scared the crap out of me. But I think Bortles has a fine game this week.
Well, on the other side of the ball, my sit for the quarterback position is Marcus Mariota.
I definitely agree with that. Marcus Mariota. Mariota, I have to go back and look at my notes and everything from the very beginning of the year when we picked MVPs and busts and everything.
Yep.
I think Mariota was my MVP in the AFC South.
You may not want to admit that.
I don't. I really don't. But he has looked terrible.
Oh, it's awful.
There's a lot of quarterbacks like that have just done a complete 180 from last year. They look promising, and we thought they were going to be good fantasy options this year. Yeah. Mariota, Dak looks awful.
Dak, yeah.
Matt Ryan looks awful. Yep. And then you guys got guys, I guess, stepping up like Bortles and Garoppolo and Wentz, becoming incredible fantasy options. But you said, who were we just talking about?
Mariota,
yeah. You sit Mariota. I will be sitting, I'll say Nick Foles against Dallas. I think he'll play a little bit, but I think he's going to be pulled relatively early, and Nick Foles, if he plays anything like he did last week, it's not going to be good anyway. Running back starts. Who you got?
I've got Derrick Henry versus the Jaguars. I think that DeMarco Murray will sit that whole game and they're just going to let Derrick Henry kind of run the show, and I think he has a really good game, even though I think that the Jags will win.
All right, I'm going to go with Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams playing Detroit. Aaron Jones probably going to be sitting in this game.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Jamal Williams has been easily one of the shining spots of the Packers the past couple weeks, even with Aaron Rodgers being out. So Detroit, not the best run defense, so I think Jamal Williams definitely gets a heavy workload and produces a pretty good fantasy game.
Yep.
Running back sits. Who you got?
Jordan Howard playing the Vikings. He's been kind of matchup dependent this year, and the Vikings not a good matchup for running backs.
Nope. I'm going to go with Isaiah Crowell playing Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's still playing for something. Very, very good run defense and defense in general. Isaiah Crowell he kind of started getting back up there for a few weeks, but now Duke Johnson's starting to get back into the fold. Wide receiver start.
Adam Thielen versus the Bears. He gave you kind of a disappointing week last week, but I think he bounces back in a big way against a pretty poor Bears team.
I'm going with Keenan Allen playing Oakland. Chargers, they're fighting for playoff hopes right now, so I think Keenan Allen has a very, very good game against a horrendous Oakland secondary.
Yeah.
Wide receiver sit.
I got Des Bryant versus the Eagles. That's just a fact. He's just not that good anymore.
Just
don't play him.
Plain and simple. I'm going to go with Michael Crabtree. We obviously saw the awful performance last week. There might be something hidden, like an injury. If he's trying to play through that, it's not going to be good for fantasy owners.
Yep.
And it's not going to be good in general anyway. Going up against the Chargers, Casey Hayward is going to manhandle him, especially if he's less than 100%.
Yep.
Titan starts.
Jimmy Graham versus the Cardinals. I think that the Seahawks are going to be playing really tough this game, and it's a pretty favorable matchup.
All right, I'm going to go with Antonio Gates, sticking with the Chargers game. Playing Oakland, Hunter Henry out with the lacerated kidney. Talked about him earlier. Antonio Gates is back into the fold in that offense, and he's still one of Phillip Rivers' favorite target when he's out there on the field. Antonio Gates, I really, really like him in this game.
Yep.
Titans sits.
I'm going to go Travis Kelce. He's one of those key pieces of the Chiefs' offense that I think that he will either not play or have a very limited role and get pulled early.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Zach Ertz. Same reasoning.
Yep.
He's probably not going to play, probably due to the fact that they've already clinched the home field advantage.
Yep.
So, defensive starts.
Starts. I've got the Chargers versus the Raiders. Raiders' offense looks a little bit putrid at the moment, and the Chargers have a really good defense.
Roll out your Chargers this week if you haven't. I'm going to go with the Ravens playing Cincinnati. Ravens' defense has been great. Cincinnati looked good last week, but I don't expect them to do much against this Ravens defense. Now, defensive sits. Did we have those? I don't even know if we got those.
Yes, but
hard this week.
Yeah, I've accidentally put two starters because I know that. I wrote down the Steelers versus the Browns.
Do not sit them.
That would have been a start.
You could sit the Browns when they play the Steelers.
Maybe I could. Maybe I was just reversing it or something. So we'll go with that. Don't play the Browns defense.
Wow, that is insight, people. You can't get that anywhere else.
Yeah, give the listeners a couple of defenses to sit because that one wasn't good.
I only have one written down as well.
Oh, okay.
Eagles against Dallas. I think Eagles starters, even on defense, are going to be sitting a few of them, and Dallas. As much as they don't have anything to play for, I think they're going to run Zeke to death in this game. That's true. And we could easily put him in the start conversation. But if you have Zeke, you're probably starting him anyway.
Yep.
Now, I do want to go over a few sleepers really quick. Obviously, with teams sitting some players and some injuries popping up, might be a few sleepers out there. Quarterback position, Joe Flacco. He looked good last week, and they're actually playing for something, a lot on the line. So Joe Flacco might be a option here. Running backs, quite a few here. Corey Clement, I want to mention. I mentioned him a little bit earlier. J.J. is probably not going to play. I really, really doubt LeGarrette Blount plays. So Corey Clement could easily get the majority of the workload in this one. Brandon Oliver, if Melvin Gordon doesn't play, Brandon Oliver, we talked about him. And then Kareem Hunt might not play, Kansas City. So Sharkhandrick West could step into a role. Maybe Akeem Hunt actually gets a few carries as well.
That's Akeem, A-K-E-E-M.
Akeem Hunt. Wide receivers, Mac Hollins for the Eagles. Alshon might not play. Nelson Aguilar might not play. So maybe Mac Hollins, maybe Torrey Smith. get out there and show something. On the Chiefs side of the ball, obviously we're talking about the guys sitting. Tyreek Hill's probably not going to be playing in this one. Yep. So maybe Chris Conley, maybe Albert Wilson. Maybe if you're looking at a tight end, Demetrius Harris. If Kelsey's going to be sitting. And then we talked about Ertz sitting, maybe Trey Burton or Brent Selleck. Any of those guys. Just be wary of people being injured and sitting and things like that.
And throw Bobo Wilson in there too.
Yes, Bobo Wilson. Dude, he was a star on Hard Knocks this offseason.
Yeah, I know. The Hard Knocks fans are going wild with that Bobo touchdown.
I still have there's so many there's low tier wide receivers we haven't really seen break out yet that I still have in my mind, and I keep tabs on them when I hear their names. I'm just like, oh yeah, we talked about him. Super deep sleepers. Bobo Wilson, Chris Godwin actually looked good last week. Thank the Lord, he's my man. Yeah. And Amara Darbo.
Yeah, Amara Darbo.
I see him every now and then.
I do.
He just pops up.
Every time I see, he hasn't been in a headline, but every time I see his name mentioned, I perk up a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, that's going to be all for today. Make sure you check out our previous show. That was our Week 16 recap. Talked everything that happened in the championship week of fantasy. Hopefully you won some titles. Hopefully you're not playing for a title right now because Week 17 is dumb. Dumb.
Because the Eagles will probably sit all their starters.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that has huge fantasy implications.
The fact that we're talking about starting guys like Joe Flacco, Mac Hollins, and Sharkhandrick West, you know it's a bad week.
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know. But anyway, this will be our last show for the week. We're not going to have one on Friday. Kevin is getting married on Friday, so we're not going to have time to record. We will be back next week. We're going to have 2 episodes for sure, or at least 2 episodes. We'll talk what happened in Week 17. We'll talk playoff implications, and we'll have an entire regular season fantasy award show. We'll talk MVPs. We'll give out busts. We'll talk all things that happened throughout the 2017 fantasy football season. So make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the423football. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. Give us a like. Leave your comments and reviews. Share us with everybody you know. Thanks for listening. We are the 423 Football Podcast.
Peace out.